It's really a pleasure being here and following up with all of the important conversations going on. Um, Let me go straight to the point because there's a whole lot to even catch up today. So I will be talking about breaking barriers, women navigating the DeFi revolution, and smart investing in 2025. So I call this a revolution because I am not quite sure many are yet to understand what lies ahead, what it entails for them. Sometimes you understand all the rave is going on around you, but you don't know what it holds for you. Some people single themselves out of the revolution, but I'd like to emphasize in the course of this conversation that it doesn't leave you aside, even if you've left it. So the best bet would be to start to open your mind and open your eyes to what could be the possibility. Linda already mentioned, I have been in the DeFi space since I came in first in 2016, then left abruptly after I've lost quite some money. I did lose over $2,000 then. And then I jumped out, it didn't make sense. And then I came back again in 2019 and I haven't looked back ever since. So what was significant about my exit and coming back, while I left, the industry didn't stop, nothing changed. It kept moving until I came back again and met a different spot. And I did regret for a while that I could have actually stayed back, nursed my injuries, and continued the journey without having that big break of almost 3 years in between. But what I want to share with most women here today is that it's not really late. A lot has happened in the space, and most persons feel like they are already late. Where do I get started? I mean, Bitcoin's already 100K, touching 100K back and forth, and you feel like so much has happened and there is no space for you. Even if you do not take out anything from this conversation, do know that you are not late in DeFi. We just getting started. You have no idea what's possible over the next 5 years. But in any case, whatever happens, you need to be in the picture. You need to put yourself in the picture. Then, what is most significant to our conversation again today is we are all ladies. And sometimes, most times, as you can see from statistics here, of course, men are ahead and they would almost continue to be ahead, except we make deliberate effort to, at least for those of us who are aware, because where it pains me the most is that we are not talking to rural women, we are not talking to uneducated women, we are talking to quite learned women who have the wherewithal to make these changes and be at the forefront of these revolutions. But for some reasons, they are just laid back and never seem to be able to catch up as things evolve. So you can see from the statistics here that it's not really exciting where women are quite behind. And this is always the case for most industries. Most changes are happening and the women are always the last to catch up, really. But if we make up our minds to be the first, at least for the few of us who are here, really, you shouldn't go out of here still thinking that, I know, I mean, 90% of here already know that Bitcoin is not a scam, but yes, it's not a scam. What have you done in your own capacity to get involved? Do you understand how it functions? Have you taken your time to understand it, or you're still depending on people to tell you the story of DeFi, of Bitcoin, of this and that? It still feels out of reach for you. This is the conversation around why more women should be involved in DeFi. The reason why I feel, because this subject is very personal to me, why I feel that more women should be involved in DeFi is because, of course, you already know from the name, it's decentralized and it gives you access to keep your own value, to store your own value over the longest period of time without the risk of losing it to the government, the risk of losing it as far as, of course, you're careful, because it requires a whole lot of carefulness. And then a lot has changed. For those who had doubts, if nothing else convinced you, the changes in the space in 2024 alone is so remarkable that whoever had a doubt should have had a second thought about their previous position at this point, right? It's been a year of DeFi, much more than any other year in history. 2024 has been one of the most eventful. Many institutional adoption. I'm trying as much as possible, and I'm going to keep this conversation as simple as possible, right? Especially for the newbies, right? But when you hear of institutional adoptions, it means that a lot of organizations, high-end organizations, whom the world takes instructions from, kind of, who the world take cues from, take directions from. They are all mostly involved, from the traditional finance to several other industries. Almost everybody is involved now. So this is actually the best time for you to, if you lack conviction because of maybe the position of your own home government, it's not looking convincing for you. You're wondering if what the Nigerian government could do next. But step out from Nigeria for a while. If you're unsure of their regulatory standpoint and everything in between, look at the global landscape and see that a lot is happening there, and it's happening quite fast. This year alone, Bitcoin touched over 108,000 USD. If you check my LinkedIn profile, you see that I do quite some coverage about Bitcoin and where the going. I have a newsletter there that you can also link up to for quick digestion of all the information that matters. Now, Bitcoin reached about 108,000 this year, and there are lots of projections. I didn't put projections here because I am not an analyst, but if you check online, you would see all sorts of things going on, whether it's reach 150,000, some say 200,000. That is not for you to worry about. What matters is that you learn how these things, how the industry has shaped up until now, and you learn what is in it for you. Bitcoin, of course, is the DeFi space, but I like to use Bitcoin because that's, of course, the most stable asset so far. That is fairly reasonable for a newbie to get involved in. Has been a hedge to inflation. I used to say for myself that if I had not made the decision I made when I did to put more energy and put more attention into the DeFi space, I don't know what my life would have been like right now. I'd probably not be close to where I am today. I would be very, very, of course, I would be doing well, right? Still doing well based on certain standards, but I won't be where I am today. And that's because I've made bold decisions to stick to this industry, understand this industry, and let it work for me. So more women definitely should be in this industry. Everything around the statistics I put here are as true as they get. The industry has evolved. You can go into talking about the increase, the total market cap and all of those things, but I would leave those here for now. I wouldn't be going deeply into the details, but the industry alone this year has done about 2.5x, if you know how to calculate this, but basically helping you understand how much increase that there has been in the market. So what this points to you is that DeFi would always remain ahead of traditional finance. So if you're cool up until now about keeping your money in your bank and just letting that be alone, you should ask yourself some certain questions. How much of your money, what was your money worth last year, and what was it worth this year? Right? It's not for you to make a very fast jump and jump into the unknown, but for you to understand that this is not something you can keep away from for long. So people have made, including Bloomberg, which I put up here, have made all sorts of projections, some also being minimal with their projections and some being outrightly loud with their projections. But you can see from organizations like BlackRock, Fidelity, and the rest of them that they are dipping their 10 toes into the industry with ETFs. That's for those who love security, who love some kind of security while investing in Bitcoin, right? And to several other assets, moving assets. People are investing in stable coins and the rest of them. Assuming the only thing you want to achieve is just to keep your money stable for you. You're not even looking forward to making any sort of profits. That's why we have stable coins, right? If you are actively studying what's happening in the Nigerian financial space, economic space, you'll know that there's almost no end to where we can get to with what we have as inflation. Inflation globally is somewhere around 8%, but as in Nigeria, nobody can accurately account for what inflation has taken from us. The value of money is dropping daily. So even if the only thing you achieve with the DeFi space is being able to store your value for what they truly are and not have them eroding over a period of time, that would have still been remarkable. But that's not the essence of this conversation. The essence of this conversation is to understand the role of DeFi in your goal for financial freedom. One thing is earning, The second thing is being able to invest what you earn, right? We are getting to where it gets interesting. Many women work hard. We all work really hard, especially the African woman, especially the Nigerian woman who've had to work twice as hard. Now, when you earn that money, what do you do with it? Some just spend it, some invest it in all sorts of ways. But up until now, for many women, they've not thought of the possibility of actually diversifying their portfolio into DeFi. And this leaves you with so many advantages, right? So many advantages that we can account for in the course of this meeting today. But do know that what's it called? It was BlackRock who gave some estimation this year that institutions should put 2% of their portfolio in DeFi, because I do a lot of institutional reporting for crypto. Now, they are making that benchmark, 2%, of course, being as minimal as possible, of course. But individuals where you are in charge of your portfolio, you can decide to do less than that. But 2% of your portfolio, assuming you're investing with as little as maybe 1 million naira, 10 million naira, it may not be much, but what we are trying to say in essence is that even the institutions are making changes to even their bureaucratic way of investing to accommodate that each organization should have their investments as well recorded in DeFi. Now, you don't want to chase too fast, but you can start with that projections that they've given, like 2%, 10%, 5%. I won't tell you how many of my assets are in crypto, because the risk appetites are all differ. But what you should ultimately do is that if you want to save money in this coming year, 2025, make sure by all means that you have something you are allocating to save in crypto and to invest in crypto if you can. But let's start with the savings. So the reason why this is a possibility or has become an even glaring possibility is because we have Trump coming in. Of course, if you follow the US are always trendsetters in the industry. Now, this government is coming in with a lot of pro-crypto approach. I did a back-to-back reporting during the election, and seeing all that has happened in that space, I can tell you that there are numerous possibilities for DeFi in the coming year, both from the appointments, which are already, of course, going on now. All the key appointments in the US are almost people that share the same narrative. Now, that is happening. It shows that there will be a lot of adoption. There will be a lot of expansion in the industry. There will be a lot of, I don't know where we'll end up at in 2025 as the total market cap, but whatever happens, you should make an allocation out of your resource to go into DeFi investing. Now, how do you get started with this? I'm not just here to tell you invest. I know that knowledge is very important, because I would not advise you to throw your money up in the air. You want to start learning. If you've not, we all do online courses and the rest of them, but this is time to take DeFi learning very seriously. The good part about DeFi learning is there's no boring parts. You definitely can join communities. You don't need to learn in isolation. And in 3 to 6 months, you would have had some measure of knowledge more than an average person as to how to set up your wallet, how to protect your wallet, how to move through different protocols, how to get things done, at least the basic level. So you want to get that knowledge first before you start investing. Now, I want to emphasize securing your wallet, because things get missing very fast in the DeFi space. So go ahead and learn how this is done. Go ahead and learn how to protect your money so that the little you have will not be taken away from you. So I'd be summing up here very fast to make room for your questions. But before I do that, I'd like to emphasize that the gateway for the future ready investment is for women is always DeFi. Keep this in mind. The gateway is DeFi. Knowledge is your pathway to actually getting started. And don't say what you have is small. Even if what you earn here is like 100,000 naira monthly, it's still enough to get you started. If you're saving your basic saving monthly, say 50,000 naira, you want to get started still. Get started with 5,000. By the time you save that, that's 60,000. By the time the market does its own multiplication and subtraction, you would have had something at the end of the day. But most importantly, think long term. This year I've set up a community where we are thinking of crypto over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years. You're thinking of how you want to position, how do you want to save, how do you want to invest, but get something started. No amount, the amount you earn is not an excuse at this point. So take out that barrier, take out the barrier of knowledge, and start investing in crypto. Start learning how to invest in crypto, and gradually, I believe all of us, as we like to say, we're all going to make it. That's our mantra in crypto. Thank you very much. So I'll be handing back to Linda for questions.
Thank you so much, Monalisa. Thank you. That was quite packed. I'd like to say that I also had my fair share of Bitcoin and investing in Bitcoin at the very initial. I know that when I got in, Bitcoin was about 60K. Right now, it's touched past 100K, and I dare say that if you are looking at hacking, how do I put it now? I mean, if you're looking at diversifying your portfolio and hacking this thing called wealth creation, crypto assets might just be the way to go. But don't do it without doing your research or having somebody like Lisa hold your hands. I know that your talk has sparked some questions. Obi had her hands up. Jennifer has her hands up. So we would have Obi ask a question and then leave the floor for Jennifer to also ask a question, then open the floor for every other person. I think this is a session you should be asking a lot of questions, especially as it concerns money. Obi, let's have you ask your question. Please turn on your mic, put on your mic and your camera and ask your question.
So I really do not have any question. I just saw some hands up and I'm just joining, so I just raised my hands. And I can see so many beautiful women here on the platform. And I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the platform. And of course, it will get better fast. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for that words of encouragement. Oladoyin, Ido, you have your hand up. Please ask your question.
I'm sorry I can't put on my video because I'm on the move, but I wanted to ask if there's a possible so I'm dyslexic, I think, in pictures, if there's a possible step-by-step overview of how to get started with DeFi. Thank you. An amazing presentation, by the way. But crypto just seems to be too complex, despite the fact that I've had the consciousness of it for the longest time.
I agree 100%. Monalisa, the question is for you, step by step. Though we'll be sharing these the slides, so Napa's slide, Monalisa, all the slides that are going to be spoken to on this call, we'll share them with you. But outside of that, Monalisa, she's asking for a step-by-step guide. I know what she means by a step-by-step guide, so that monies are not lost. Yeah, Grace, ask your question so that Monalisa can just answer both questions.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Grace. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Monalisa, for the session. It was very enlightening. I have basic knowledge in crypto, right? And I even have a little investment in it. And yes, I've made a little bit of profit this year. But then you mentioned having a community, so I just wanted to ask, if we could get access to the community, what it takes, what it entails, requirements, and all that. That's just what I want to know. Thank you.
Starting with the second question, step by step to investing in DeFi, I really don't run a community by myself, because what I run an edtech for developers, for Web3 developers, that's blockchain, smart contracts, and the rest of them. That's my active area. However, of course, I can always point you in the right direction where to get the right information. A number of communities, by the way, we have Women in DeFi specifically for this, and we have I could send you a number of links that would help you get started, close-knit communities that help you understand and take your first step in investing. So yes, I could do that for you. I'll be sharing my LinkedIn here very shortly. So for those who don't have it, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn, and I'll give you access to some of those resources. Then someone mentioned about crypto being complex. Yes, that's That's the first barrier of entry. Crypto is complex, and I don't know if it's ever going to get easier than what it is now. It's actually already has simplified over a period of time what crypto used to be then, how products used to be very tedious and intimidating then. It's no longer that bad now. There are lots of improvements in terms of user experience that has happened over a period of time. But you can't run away from this forever. First, because we are all young and we are all smart and we all have the capacity to make these adjustments as they are coming. The other time it was crypto, then later on it was NFTs, later on a whole lot of things keep being offloaded. The information almost knows no end. But the fact that we are young, we do know that you cannot run away from this revolution for a long time. Now, the conversation has even moved from just adopting and sitting while these things are being given to us to how can we create this revolution in a way that is impactful to us? How do we get involved? That's why what we are talking about from the edtech that I run, which is one there, we are trying to get more African builders into creating these solutions, into understanding how to create the solution. So for the women, we are talking about adoption. For the men, we are talking about creating the solution. Really, we need to brace up a lot more. We need to open up our minds a lot more. It is not, I mean, people go to school to study medicine. People study all sorts of complex subjects. We have moved from DeFi. We have gone to AI, and a lot of things are opening up very fast. So make that mental space for learning what is hard, especially for me. How I like to ration this thing is, if there's money in it, if it's going to be rewarding, trust me, I'm going to learn it. I will put more energy there until I learn it. So if you're as motivated as I am, you want to start really learning crypto for what it is, because it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's for complexity of crypto. I don't know if I've answered all your questions. If I haven't, please point me back to it, so you can reach me to
Let's have
more.
questions. Yeah, I see more hands. Please, Margaret, I think you have your hand up. Quickly ask your question. We'll take your question as the final question. Then please connect with Lisa on LinkedIn. We don't have so much time, and we still have 3 more speakers on queue. So Margaret, ask your question, and then the
Hi,
rest,
good
please connect on
afternoon.
LinkedIn. Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much, Monalisa. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, so my question is I have an opinion based off what I know, and I want to know, okay, whether is it right or is it wrong. So I just want like some sort of clarification. We've heard about DeFi, crypto, Web3, and all of those things, right? So to simplify it in my head, I have told myself that, okay, the core of investing in Web3 or in crypto or DeFi, is it really about buying coins and holding for them to appreciate before you sell, or does it involve, say, active trading, or is it something more than that? Did you get my question?
Yes, it's a whole lot of things in one. Why we always talk about the entry point, which is the crypto itself, it's a whole lot. I told you the conversation widens as you begin to get involved. But the entry point is usually the crypto. Buy, store, sell, whichever one you have the capacity to do. Not everybody is a day trader. I am not a day trader. I don't have that time. But I do store crypto. So whichever angle you can get involved in. Some are actively trading crypto daily, like as a source of living. Some are using it as a store of value. Some are using it to revolutionize their products, create more access for payments and the rest of them. So whichever angle, it doesn't stop and end with you buying and selling crypto. No, it doesn't. The DeFi space is way larger than that. But the entry point is usually, are you able to transact with this, and what more other value can be attached to it from that point?